I want to show you a famous image from Nazi Germany. It is of a man named August Landmesser. He was standing in a crowd at the shipyard where he worked, and Adolf Hitler was there speaking. And everyone in the crowd, as you can see by the picture, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or on America's Voice on TV, you can see by the picture that everyone is extending their right hand in the Sieg Hitler, the Heil Hitler salute, all right? And there he is, not just not doing it, but with his arms folded and with a look on his face like, no way, not going to do it. That was 1936. It is a striking display of courage in the midst of the crowd. And it was a dangerous display. Well, what happened? Well, when Hitler came into power, initially, Landmesser joined the Nazi Party, thought that this would be better for the country, realized what was really going on, and withdrew from that, fell in love with a woman named Irma, and turns out she was Jewish. And of course, Nazis were anti-Semites at the top of the list. Well, they got married, but under the Nuremberg laws, their marriage was not recognized. They had a child, so this was not recognized as a legitimate marriage, a legitimate union. Rather, it was disgracing the race, disgracing the Aryan race. So they decide, so this is now 1936, and he's going to fold his arms. No, I'm not going to salute Hitler. That could cost you your life. Yeah, but he had principle. He had principle. Principle was more important than safety. So what ultimately happened? Well, he and his wife and child decided to flee to Denmark, but they were stopped at the border. They were arrested. Well, they claimed that he didn't know she was fully Jewish and she didn't know she was fully Jewish, that they did not have sufficient evidence against him. Went ahead, going to have a second child, and now they crack down on them, and they both get sent to concentration camps. She dies. She dies in a concentration camp, goes to several, and is finally put to death in a concentration camp. One of the 6 million Jews exterminated. He survives almost 3 years in a concentration camp. The kids, by the way, the two kids lived on. They made it. They survived. They were raised by others. He then just works various jobs and then is basically put on a suicide mission. They had these troops that would go out. They were not properly prepared. They were not properly equipped, and they would fight against the Allies. It was basically a suicide mission. So he dies in battle. That was his penalty for marrying a Jewish woman. And she, a Jewess, dies in the concentration camps. That's a pretty heavy story, friends. That's a pretty intense story. But you go back and say, how do we know who he is today? Because he folded his arms. Because he said, I'm not going along with the crowd. I will not salute this madman, racist, Jew hater who is destroying my own family. I will not do it. Ultimately, cost him his life. And her being a Jew, her fate was sealed already. But in the light of eternity and the light of world history, he did the right thing. He was a hero. He was courageous. He was not a coward.